Hi there. My name is Alan,
Olivia.
and we are going to be starting our series of Pixar movie reviews leading up to the release of Soul on Christmas Day. And this is our first one.
And we're doing an order of release.
We're going to do an order of release date, and our first movie we are going to be doing today that we just watched last night. Not that we needed to watch it in order to review it, but the movie
we've
we're
seen
doing
most
today.
of the movies.
The movie we're doing today is
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
The first one.
The first Toy Story movie.
Thank you.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about Toy Story, and before we start out, just some history about it. Of course, Pixar was a animation studio which is originally owned by Lucasfilms, and it was actually acquired by Steve Jobs. Before Steve Jobs got back into Apple, while Steve Jobs was sort of like on the outs of Apple, and he created this animation studio, or at least helmed it, that started to really put out some interesting things, mostly shorts and whatnot. So there wasn't really too much in the way of like a long-term like a feature-length movie. And then in 1995, actually before that, but 1995, they released their first feature-length movie, and that movie was Toy Story. And Toy Story, of course, is a movie about toys that come to life, and we get to see sort of like the inner working of toys that are alive, but they're not alive when we're around, but they're alive when we're not around, so you get to see what they do. It's a very interesting concept. It's been tried several times with several other things since then. This was sort of like the first time somebody tried sort of like taking an inanimate or at least non-human object and sort of like giving it life and feel to it. And I gotta say that hardly anybody has done it better than Toy Story. Toy Story is a great movie. I mean, spoiler alert, we love the movie. So anyway, you want to talk about the film? What was your
I mean, overall, it's a great movie, but animation wise, it's very real. Like, besides the humans, maybe it's a very realistic animation style. Like, the setting and the toys look like actual toys and all that.
That's correct. And so let's start with the writing and the story. The writing was right on key. There is no question that they began with an idea, and they built on it and built on it and built on it, and there was character arcs in the film. Woody had, of course, the most obvious character arc. He began as sort of like someone who felt threatened by another toy moving in on his turf, and he started doing very negative things to that other toy, which we'll be dealing with him in a moment. And then by the end, though, due to circumstances, he really had a wonderful resurgence and redemption arc, and he became a hero. And then of course there was Buzz, who Buzz's arc was
realizing that he's a toy and being okay with that.
Yeah, he was the toy that of course Woody had a problem with at first, and Buzz was voiced by Tim Allen, who I can't imagine anybody else doing a better job of that. He had equal parts kind of like whimsy, and he had the kind of sort of like gravitas to kind of like sound like he was sort of a spaceman, but not, if that makes any sense. And then of course Tom Hanks.
Yeah, but he's always good.
Yeah, he's always good. He really did a fantastic job in this film, voicing Woody, of course, and just everything was perfect with the story. So the movie was entertaining from start to finish. It's definitely good for kids as well. So that's another point about it. However, it did have some moments in it that I think adults would appreciate, that I think would go over the head of children. You probably noticed some of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like they throw stuff in there, are references that kids aren't necessarily going to get when they're kids. And they'll be like, what was that? But they won't care because they're children, and that's not how their brains work. But the parents will be like, what was that? You know, and you get to see that a lot in a lot of Pixar movies, and it really started right here with Toy Story, right from the jump. I mean, it's just a really enjoyable. And then we talk about the music. I mean, it's so iconic, that Randy Newman's score. From the start to the finish, and the way that it just wove its way throughout like a tapestry throughout the story, and it was funny when it needed to be funny, and it was dark when it needed to be dark, and really it was just a wonderful, and there's some great songs in it too, you know, like. Obviously, everybody knows You Got a Friend in Me, but I mean, you know, they also had songs related to Buzz and what Buzz was going through.
When he just found out that he was a toy, he was like incredibly depressed.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a great movie, and I gave it 5 stars. It's one of the best movies. I think it's one of the best, top 10 animated films ever made. And I don't think, you know, you watch all the animated films ever made. I haven't, obviously, but you could, and I think you'd still determine that Toy Story belongs in that standing. It really is one of the great movies, and it's a great start to the Pixar film, you know, sort of like run of films that they had. Really, truly great start. So anyway, how many stars do you give it?
I agree with the 5. It's something that I'm glad they improve on throughout Pixar, is learning how to animate human faces.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
Very scary. Well, I think what she's referring to is the fact that everybody's face in this movie, all the humans look like Andy. They all had Andy's face.
And separately, the dog. It was just so silly looking.
Yeah, there was a dog in the movie who was very silly looking, but you know, it added to some of the humor of the movie. You know, it was really funny, and you know, captures your attention right from the start, and he keeps it up. And one thing I like about this is that it did a fantastic job of closing the story out. So they didn't really need to have a sequel. Of course they did.
I'm glad they did.
But it wasn't like you watched it and you go, oh, they're setting up a sequel. I don't think they were. I don't think that they realized that they were going to have sequels after this movie.
Yeah, probably not.
So there was definitely it was closed. It was a closed story from start to finish, and just a remarkable movie. So anyways, number 3 on my list of Pixar movies. I have it right up there. The only ones that are above it are a great movie that I just love, and another Toy Story movie. That's pretty much it. So you haven't made your list yet. Yeah. I mean, she's gonna have to make her list as we go along here. So we'll see where it finishes on Olivia's list. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. You know, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that like button down below. Otherwise, have a great day.
And subscribe and put on bell notifications, because the subscribe button doesn't actually really work.
Subscribe, add the bell notifications to be notified. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good day.